Hello friends, hope you're doing well. In this video I'll be discussing about the planet Mars. If I want to define Mars in one word, then that word will be energy. Because Mars is all about that. Mars is about energy. Mars is about passion. Mars is about your courage. Mars is about your sex drive. Mars is a fiery planet. Mars helps you to win battles, helps you to win competition, helps you to fight against your enemies. Hence, Mars is a very, very important planet in your chart. A well placed Mars in your chart will help you to win battles, whereas a Mars which is difficult in your chart will force you to pick up fights which are not necessary. Now, coming to houses, Mars does really well in those houses which are called as Upachaya houses. 3, 6, 10, and 11 are Upachaya houses, and Mars does really well in all these 4 houses. Most of the malefics, and particularly Mars, Saturn, and Rahu, they do really well in Upachaya houses. And Mars does really well in all of these Upachaya houses. Because third house is about courage. And a Mars which is placed in third house can give you lot of courage. It's about younger siblings also, third house, and Mars also represents younger siblings. Mars does really well in sixth house because sixth house is about enemies, about diseases, about competition, and Mars is a fighter. So Mars will help you to fight against diseases and enemies and will help you to win competitions. Mars does really well in 10th house because of couple of reasons. One, Mars is getting directional strength in 10th house. Hence, Mars is very strong in 10th house. And if you look into the Kalpurusha chart or the natural zodiac, the 10th house has the sign Capricorn and Mars is exalted in Capricorn. So Mars does really well in 10th house. So a well-placed Mars in 10th house can take you to heights in career, like with Sun. So Mars and Sun gets directional strength in 10th house. Mars also does really well in 11th house. Now Mars kind of struggles in 7th house and 8th house and to some extent in the 12th house. In 12th house most of the planets struggle. So Mars also doesn't do well in 12th house. In 7th house, Mars really struggles because 7th house is about relationships, 7th house is about compromise, 7th house is about, adjusting, and Mars is not that kind of a planet. 8th house, if Mars is placed in the 8th house, then, you have a lot of sex drive in you, unnecessary sex drive in you. That's not very good from a relationship point of view. Too much of sex is not good, and that's what a Mars in 8th house can do. That's why it's not very comfortable in 7th and 8th house. It's prone to accident. The difficult side of Mars is prone to accidents. So Mars in 8th house, you may meet with a lot of accidents. Not always, but in most of the cases, you may meet with accidents. So Mars is not very good in the 7th and the 8th house. Now in other houses like the first house, the second house, the 4th, the 5th, the 9th house, it will depend on what kind of sign Mars is placed, what kind of a planet is Mars in your chart, what kind of aspect is Mars getting, and all those factors. So it's kind of neutral in those places. Now Mars does really well with Sun and Jupiter and to some extent with Moon because Mars considered them to be their friend. I have seen in a lot of charts Mars and Jupiter aspect or conjunction is extremely good for that particular person. Even Mars does really well with Sun. The only thing is when two fiery planet comes, you become extra fiery. That's the only bad thing. But Mars and Sun can really do well. Similarly with Moon also, Mars does kind of okay. It kind of disturbs the Moon a bit because Mars is a fiery planet. But generally you see this to be a good yoga. At least you get a lot of wealth in this if you have this kind of a yoga. Now Mars kind of struggle with the nodes like most of the planets. Mars also is not comfortable with Mercury and Saturn. When you have a Mars and Mercury combination, Mercury is about communication skills, Mars is a fighter, so you pick up unnecessary fight. You're not a smooth talker if it's a afflicted conjunction. And with Saturn, because Saturn is a slow moving planet and Mars is a fiery and a fast moving planet, it's kind of a very difficult combination because two extremely opposite planets are aspecting or in conjunct with each other. Now the good thing about this conjunction is you become a fierce competitor because you have that patience in you, and at the same time you're also a fighter. So I see in a lot of charts of sports person or athletes, I see this combination, and I've already made a video on this as well. But that's the only good thing about this conjunction or this aspect. So one more thing before I end this video, Mars is not very bad if it is debilitated in your chart. I'll tell you why. Because Mars is all about energy. Mars is all about fire. Mars is all about, go out and fight. Now, that's not always good. Now, what a debilitated Mars does is that it becomes weak, so it becomes cunning. It becomes what you called as street smart. So then it can manipulate things. So a debilitated planet or a debilitated Mars, not planet but Mars, does kind of okay as far as your materialistic life is concerned, wealth is concerned, your profession is concerned. It's kind of fine to have a debilitated Mars, not other planets. Other planets kind of don't do really well if they're debilitated, but Mars debilitation is not very bad. The other thing which a debilitated Mars can do is that it may not be very good from a personal point of view, but it's fine as far as the professional side or the materialistic side of the life is concerned. That's it, guys. That's all about Mars. And if you like my videos, then please do subscribe to my channel. Please share my video. Thank you for watching it. Take care. Bye bye.